Hello and welcome to Physical Therapy, a movie podcast. Welcome to 2025.
Happy New Year, gang.
Happy New Year. We are back. My name is Kurt.
I am Sam.
We are here every week talking movies largely inspired by the world of physical media. Today we are talking about two movies that share only really a relationship because, well, they both star Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah. And did they come out the same year?
They came out in 2003.
Okay.
But we're talking about them because they share a 2-pack Blu-ray that was released in 2014 from Mill Creek Entertainment and is now out of print, I guess, but you can still get it used.
Fairly easily, actually.
Exactly. These movies are, of course, S.W.A.T and Basic. Two action thrillers that we've both seen.
I have not seen Basic.
You haven't seen Basic? Okay.
I definitely have seen S.W.A.T at one point.
Yeah, I've seen them both, I think not since 2003.
Oh, you have seen them both?
Yeah, I think I saw them both in the theater.
Dang.
So in a little bit, we're going to kind of pause down the recording, watch those movies, and then come right back on and react to them right before your ears.
It's a live reaction. If you've followed the show, you're familiar with these types of episodes. We do these from time to time. They're not always Basic and S.W.A.T, but, here we are.
Here we are. Basic came up because I guess we're talking about Connie Nielsen in a recent episode.
Yeah, that's literally how it came up.
Were we talking about Gladiator 2? Why were we talking? Oh, no, we're talking about Devil's Advocate.
Oh, yeah. We brought up that she was going to be in Gladiator 2. And then for some reason, you and I both lost our fucking minds and bought Basic and S.W.A.T that night.
So the one I'm really excited for is Basic. That's why I wanted this. And the reason we got the 2-pack is because the only way you can get Basic on Blu-ray is in this 2-pack. S.W.A.T has a standard, solo release, but Basic is a rare find, and we're here to tell you all about it. Sam, speaking of Connie Nielsen, last night I watched a movie called The Hunted, directed by William Friedkin and starring Benicio del Toro, TLJ, and Connie Nielsen.
Explain who TLJ is.
Tommy Lee Jones, people.
Come on, people.
Just making sure everyone knows.
Thank you, Kimberly. Kimberly is our producer. Hi, Kimmy.
Hi, I'm drifting above you two.
You really are. Keeping a bird's eye view.
Yep, keeping you two in line.
Kino Lorber put out this movie. This is a movie about a special operations assassin who kind of goes crazy and is on the run and killing people he thinks are chasing him who may or may not be chasing him. And Tommy Lee Jones is like a survivalist trainer who taught Benicio everything he knows and is hunting him down.
Does this movie start out with Tommy Lee Jones beating up a guy in a bar for trapping wolves?
This movie, yes, the first scene with TLJ is...
Hell yeah, dude.
He is tracking something or someone through British Columbia in the snow. Eventually you realize that he's following a beautiful white wolf who has stepped on a snare trap and its paw is injured and it can't get this thing off of him. So Tommy Lee Jones, calmly pets this wolf and removes this snare and then takes the snare into a bar and very Joker pencil trick style, wraps this thing around a dude's neck and slams his head onto a table.
Yeah.
He points at a dude who's about to fight him and kind of stops him. And he's like, no more snares on wolves, guys. No more snares on wolves. And at that point, I was fucking in on this movie, which just came out from Kino Lorber on 4K, which is why it's relevant here.
Shot in my beloved Portland. Benicio del Toro jumps off the Hawthorne Bridge at one point. In fact, I was at a restaurant, bar/brunch spot called The Dockside, and I sent Kurt a picture of a plaque they have on their wall that says, "The Dockside will not be open due to the filming of The Hunted."
Hell yes. Sam, it's 2025.
Wait, I got to clear the air on some things from our last episode, our Christmas Picks episode.
Fact check stuff?
Yeah, well, there's two things.
What do we got?
I brought up Black Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
It stars the beautiful and wonderful Olivia Hussey, who unfortunately passed away about a week ago at this point.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Right after our episode came out, and she will be missed in the movie community. An incredibly talented actress. She started acting at 14. Her first role was Juliet in Romeo and Juliet.
Right. Yeah.
I believe at 14, which is pretty crazy.
Legend.
A total legend. She was big in the horror community, a community that I love to be a part of. So our condolences to her family. That's very sad. Another thing we have to address, last episode, we were also talking about some announcements that were coming out. We talked about Kino's release of Dress to Kill in 4K. This is now out of print.
Oh,
Or has since gone out of print.
interesting.
Along with their 4K copy of The Great Escape, A Few Good Men, and your beloved Manchurian Candidate.
Not A Few Good Men. They didn't do that.
Oh, sorry. You're sorry. 12 Angry Men.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, those are titles that are like getting passed around.
We talked about this on the last episode, but I'm wondering if Criterion is going to upgrade their copies of a couple of those movies now that we don't have other US releases of them in 4K.
But also, like Arrow did A Great Escape and...
Dress to Kill, but those were both UK releases.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I guess we'll have to wait and see. If you're interested, you can probably find those copies around. I think they just went out of print, so get on them if you're interested, folks.
Where'd you find that out? Reddit?
Reddit and, yeah, just like the internet in general. The other thing that I have to say, this is a fun fact. I was talking to a couple regulars at my bar yesterday, and I found out one of them grew up in Astoria, Oregon, that if you remember way back to season 1, episode 1, we talked about Kindergarten Cop, which was shot in Astoria, Oregon, as well as The Goonies. And so I said to her, hey, were you like around when Kindergarten Cop was shot? She said, oh my God, of course I remember Kindergarten Cop being shot. It was a huge thing for the town. In fact, Arnold came and taught my PE class one time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Get her on the show. Eyewitness.
I said, we might have to have you on. We need the full recount of Arnold teaching your gym class. But as we pointed out in that episode, Arnold seems to really love kids and really like working with them. So I'm assuming him as a gym teacher was awesome.
What a guy.
Are there more of these things around? It is 2025. And before we get into these titles, I would love for each of us to put out a little resolution energy
No, okay.
when it comes to our physical media relationships, because I certainly have been thinking about it.
Because we were doing our taxes and wanted to drive off a bridge.
Oh, you did yours too, Sam. Okay.
No, I was just looking through things and
Yeah.
then was like, I have to stop.
Yeah.
I have to stop.
Sam and I were talking as I was sort of putting together preparing to do my taxes and looking at the year behind me. I'd like to approach 2025 a little differently.
Yeah. So what's your big physical media resolution?
I feel like with the rate of how quickly the 4K medium seems to be growing now, and how many old titles are being upgraded, I often find myself disheartened when I hear things being announced because I already have them on Blu-ray or I recently got them on Blu-ray.
Sure.
That stuff drives me nuts. So my resolution is, unless there's a darn good reason, I'm going to hold off in 2025 on buying things that are on Blu-ray that have been on Blu-ray for some time. I will allow myself to pre-order things on Blu-ray that are being announced for the first time. To me, that makes it feel like a slightly safer bet. If a company is, dropping it on Blu-ray and not on 4K, that there's probably not a 4K right around the corner. But I'm going to try to stop picking up stuff that, just come on my radar or I'm reminded of or want to check out again that aren't yet on 4K, that I don't own on Blu-ray, in order to try to avoid having to double dip or be tempted to double dip and upgrade to a new format in the near future.
I think that sounds like a healthy and good decision.
That's what we're aiming for here.
What about you, Sam?
I mentioned this on an earlier episode towards the tail end of last year, and I would like to be better about using the various sales to my advantage. Maybe we could take a page or two out of our good friend Drew's book and become less worried about pre-ordering titles and getting them when they're actually out or when there's a sale happening. Because I often find myself, maybe stressed isn't the right word, but concerned about a title going out of print.
Yeah.
And then the next time an Arrow sale happens, that title is still very much in print and, $10 to $20 cheaper than it was when I pre-ordered it. These sales happen pretty regularly across many platforms, whether it's the Barnes & Noble Criterion sale or the Barnes & Noble Arrow sale. And I'm pretty sure they're starting to do Kino sales at Barnes & Noble, or at least online.
Oh, cool.
There was a great Kino cult sale at Orbit DVD in September of last year. So just using these types of sales to our benefit is a big thing for me this year. Trying to get a little bit off the pre-order train, unless it's like a, special circumstance where it is a title that is going to go out of print. The Keep sold out pretty quickly with the Vinegar Syndrome sale this last year. So hopefully I don't miss out on any titles like that, but that is my big resolution for this year.
I respect it. For the most part, I feel like that's very easy to do and still end up, being able to get everything you're after. And we know which ones are the Keep or a Kino slip sleeve or whatever that you wouldn't want to miss out the chance on getting. But I will help you if you help me.
Let's do it, dude.
This is good. Physical therapy. I think you guys have made a bit of headway this year.
Yeah. All right, great. I can't wait for this to go by the wayside in 2.5
I know.
weeks.
Let's see how long this lasts, actually.
I can't wait to know which movie breaks me. I can't wait to be like, oh, I gotta get The Waterboy on Blu-ray.
Yeah, when it's like exclusive slip sleeve on Jingle All the Way. And it's like, all right, well, fuck it, man. I'll pay $45 for that.
Dude, I'd pay $45 for that too. All right, well, we got 2 movies to watch here. It might be time to pause this podcast and fire up.
What are we going with first?
Well, I think we're going with S.W.A.T because on this Blu-ray, it's like...
It's listed first?
Yeah, it's just like vertically split in half, the artwork, and the left side is S.W.A.T.
All right, baby. I hope Colin Farrell is as greasy as he is in Miami Vice.
Dude, I fucking love Colin Farrell. I'm really excited for this. This has a slammin' cast based on the little I remember and have... pre-read about it. Anything to say about this before we jump in? We're going to go to a commercial real quickly here and we'll be back with S.W.A.T fresh in our brains.
I do, hit us up with your nostalgic stories of S.W.A.T if you saw it in theaters or if you remember anything about it.
Hell yeah.
Because I definitely did not see this movie in theaters. I didn't see it till later in life and I don't remember it at all. So I'm excited.
All right, people. We will see you on the other side. Okay, we are back.
I just kicked a fucking door open and I'm here to tell you S.W.A.T fucking sucks, dude. S.W.A.T is bad.
S.W.A.T stars Samuel L. Jackson, Colin Farrell, Michelle Rodriguez, LL Cool J, Jeremy Renner, and Olivier Martinez.
And that one dude who's in like Wet Hot American Summer and shit.
Oh, yeah. That's what he's in.
Josh Charles.
You'd know him.
You'd know him if you saw him, y'all.
Yeah.
You'd know him.
He's one of those.
This movie is co-written by David Ayer, who popped off by writing the screenplay for Training Day and has gone on to direct such films as Fury
Rules,
and The Tax Collector.
There's a quote on the front of this movie from none other than Roger Ebert.
Sam.
And it says, quote, the best cop movie since Training Day.
Oh, no.
And I would like to tell Roger Ebert to suck it. This movie fucking sucked, dude.
The best cop film since Training Day is what it says. And
That's so funny.
Training Day was literally like a year and a half before this.
Yeah, exactly. Well, maybe he's kind of right. I don't know.
He's probably right.
Yeah.
Somebody get on ChatGPT and ask him to list every cop movie made from 2001 to 2003. I guarantee you there's one better.
Also, I think if you got on ChatGPT in 2003, if it existed and said, write a movie about a SWAT team, it would spit this out.
This would be it.
This is the most generic, pile of shit I've seen in a long time. This is directed by a guy named Clark Johnson, who I looked him up after as we were getting back on the mics. This guy has directed 3 movies and then about 950 episodes of television.
Do you know what one of those episodes of television is?
I do not. What?
The pilot of The Wire.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Like, respect, This guy's...
Yeah.
It's not all his fault, I don't think.
It's a really bad script.
It's a really bad script. The thing that struck me the most about this movie is that it feels like in 2003, they probably were so certain that everything they were doing was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It just reeks of confidence and has absolutely no reason for it
at all.
In 2024, 25.
This movie's so bad I forgot what fucking year it is.
Yeah. Let's talk about what it's about.
Okay. We don't need to go like a scene for scene breakdown, but it's basically like Samuel L. Jackson is a not necessarily retired SWAT lieutenant, but he comes back into action and gets a team of younger people together I don't know, to be a SWAT team.
Yeah. It's basically Top Gun Maverick
Yeah.
If it was bad.
if it was bad and
was not about planes, but about SWAT officers.
exactly. He's sort of the Tom Cruise who's putting together like a ragtag team of younger, hotshot, rookies. But one of them's not a rookie. He is coming back after being suspended and losing his job. This is Colin Farrell.
Whose name is Jim Street in this movie.
Jim Street.
I lost my mind when I heard about his name. Jim.
Old Jimmy Street.
Jim Street. I said that was you, Sam.
Oh, man, I wish. How about when him and Michelle Rodriguez have sex for absolutely no reason whatsoever and have absolutely no chemistry throughout this entire movie?
They do have sex, don't they?
No, they don't.
We don't see it, but
He stays over.
she goes, or he's like, what are you doing after this bar? And she's like, I bought you one drink. That doesn't mean I'm going to take you home. And he goes, what about two?
They had so little chemistry yet. I was like, they didn't have sex. There's no way.
An hour of this 2-hour fucking movie.
Jesus.
So
dude.
long.
Is gathering the team.
Yeah, gathering the team. Colin Farrell, falling from grace and returning to a SWAT team. All the while, a French,
We don't know anything about him.
I know.
he's a
couldn't
rich
handle that.
French bad guy.
Yeah, he's killed his dad, who's like the head of some type of kind of mob family.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's controlling whatever that family is, but we don't know what they do or don't do or anything else. And he gets literally fucking arrested for a broken tail light.
Wait, and he's in which movie with?
Unfaithful.
Yeah, he's the Frenchman in Unfaithful.
Hot French man. If ChatGPT put together a hot French man, it would be
It would be him.
Olivier Martinez.
And I
He fucking
approve.
rules. I love Olivier
love
Martinez.
him.
Wait, what's Unfaithful? Is that with Rebecca
It's with
Romijn?
Diane. No, Diane
Lane and
Lane.
Richard Gere.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's insane.
She's walking down the street in Soho in the beginning, and it's so fucking windy. You can't believe your eyes. Like trash is like hitting her in the face.
Just like
She like
people are
literally
blowing
blows
around.
over, I think, at one point.
It's so
And
funny.
a hot French man comes down his little loft stoop, and he's like, excuse me, and has her upstairs,
God.
and they have an affair, and
A dream.
she's married to Richard Gere.
It actually
It
is
sounds
way better
way more
than
thrilling than SWAT, I'll tell you that much.
When I proposed to
God.
Kim, we did a double feature that evening of Unfaithful and A Perfect Murder.
And it was great.
Damn.
It's too bad we didn't do that. That should have been a live pod, Kim.
Maybe we do that on our anniversary
Yeah,
next year.
that'd be fun.
Followed up with SWAT to clean the palate.
So he's arrested for a broken taillight, but then they realize who they have.
But they don't really. They're like, your prints don't match your passport.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
We don't know who you are, so that's like why you're being held longer. And then they figure out who he is 45 minutes later.
There's a prison transport scene where he's on a bus. His like cronies try to break him out, and there's a huge shootout in the middle of Hollywood, and he's arrested at that point. There's probably details missing here, but who fucking cares?
No, but it's very vague. Like there's
sure.
not really any villain story that makes sense to him. But yeah, go ahead.
He's arrested at that point, and then this is when it turned for me, Sam. I was so not into this movie, and then this happened.
Oh, yeah.
He gets arrested. He looks at the news cameras as they're bringing him into the prison, and he says, anybody who gets me out of here gets $100 million.
Yeah.
I think I clapped and said, that's a movie.
Yeah. And if that happened in the first 10 minutes,
Yeah,
I'd have been
exactly.
on board.
Definitely.
It was way too late.
And so then basically the rest of the movie is this guy, people trying to break him out, and these SWAT guys trying to stop him.
Oh, God. It's just like, there's a lot of like bad propaganda in it. There's a lot of like, you are a hero out there today, man. And it's like, the script was written by either ChatGPT or like a blind 8-year-old. I don't know what to tell you, dude. I was bored through so much of it.
Oh, really? I was not bored. I thought it was bad, but I was fully entertained.
It's 2003 and the cutting is like quick enough that it keeps you
Yeah.
it keeps you like glued to the screen, but I thought it was boring. I didn't care about so much of it. I think the action scenes are so atrociously done. I will tell you want to know when I perked up? Is when Hot Frenchman's like driving through LA.
Oh, baby.
And Linkin Park starts playing.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I was like, oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah.
Sam, how much Linkin Park are you listening to?
Oh my God.
In this day and age?
Yeah. You ever throw it on?
No.
Dude,
But I mean, I'm not against it.
throw it on.
I texted Kurt this. There's a bar that we go to on Christmas, like some of my coworkers and I, that does karaoke, and I sang Limp Bizkit's Break Stuff on Christmas. Hell yeah, baby. Hell yeah, baby.
Wow.
I mean, I loved those first two Linkin Park records. I liked them way more than I liked fucking SWAT, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, I don't know. I felt that the action scenes were pretty bad. A lot of scenes are dragged out that go on for way too long. At one point, they're kind of like in a sewer/subway station in LA.
Mm-hmm.
I was really bored in that chase scene.
It's just like bad speed.
Oh man, how about those really bad CGI bats in that scene?
Honestly, I loved them. It was good to see them. It added something.
Mad respect to the bats.
Yeah.
It's a nice window though of time where it's like there is a little bit of shitty CGI, but
No, it's pretty practical.
it's pretty practical. Yeah.
Yeah. Was this based on a TV show?
It was a 1975 TV show.
That makes sense.
You can only assume that the guy driving them at the very end is like from that show. It's like an old man driving the bus, like the SWAT bus. And he's like, "Where to, guys?"
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. They're like, we've been up for 36 hours, but there's like,
There's more crime.
yeah, we got to go stop him.
You know who rules?
Who? Colin Farrell?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
He's just too good for this movie. I'm like,
Way
get
too good.
out of here.
Yeah.
It's just so not his movie.
Wait a minute. I'm on the IMDb page for SWAT right now, and Captain Thomas Fuller, who's like kind of the antagonist, but not really a bad guy.
Yeah, he's like the asshole chief.
This dude is played by Larry Poindexter.
Brutal.
God, that guy.
Fucking dork.
I think I said repeatedly throughout the movie to Kurt, I was like, I hate him. Like, I just
Yeah.
hate him. He's
Hey,
so...
you're supposed to.
And I'm sorry if he's listening, Larry. I'm sorry.
Larry Poindexter,
I hate you.
you did
I
a great
guess.
job in this movie.
You did great.
Oh my God. Yeah. This was, I mean, yeah, you're right. You know, I didn't fall asleep. It kept my attention that way. And there's some cool like car explosion stuff in it.
There's also some fun like inside baseball on SWAT maneuvers that like held my attention. You see that like during the training stuff, they do kind of like a mock trial of like an airplane hostage situation, you know, all kind of paintball style weaponry, but you get to see them sort of plot out how to get inside and get everybody out or whatever. I like that.
Yeah.
I liked the montage of them like doing their
Training
thing.
up.
Oh, you mean when they're like on their day off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my favorite part.
And then all getting a call at the same time. They're like
Like
and it's
superheroes.
yeah. Sorry, sweetie, I gotta go.
I loved it.
Oh my God.
My favorite thing about doing these episodes, Sam, is either I'll think of it myself or Kim will be with me and we'll just burst out laughing. We'll just go, God, Sam is dying right now. He's probably
We
so
loved
pissed.
it. Like, know that you are like up the coast, just absolutely curdling up there.
Yeah, just fucking, I can hear you screaming.
At one point I was like, man, I wasn't gonna drink during this, but now I am.
Yeah.
Yes, SWAT would be tough.
It is required.
It's just every action movie that you've already seen. And for a while, like Hollywood kind of ran on these movies.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the tail end of that, right? It's early 2000s. And we've kind of gotten out of the heyday of, you know, mid 80s to the late 90s. And it's trying so hard to be one of those movies. And it falls so short. There's just nothing fun in it. Like
Yeah.
all the funny lines aren't funny. And all the lines that are serious are funny.
Yeah. The fact that Fast and Furious came out, it has so many elements of that time.
Fast and Furious 1 is like way better than this.
No, I know that's what I mean. It's like, yeah, it's trying to be so many things. It's trying to be like that kind of level of cool.
Yeah, it's trying to be that. It's trying to be Training Day.
Yeah,
It has like a Michael Bay thing going on too. I don't
the
know.
camera never stops moving.
Yeah.
Like ever.
According to Wikipedia, Michael Bay, Rob Cohen, Anton Fuqua, Michael Mann, Joel Schumacher, Tony Scott, Zack Snyder, Roger Spottiswoode, and John Woo all passed.
All past. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Can you imagine
Wise.
the Tony Scott version of this movie?
Oh my God.
Dude,
That movie's probably fucking awesome.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's a good call. Of all those people, that's who I'd want to see.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Oh, here you go, Kim, too. Following the box office success of The Fast and the Furious, Neil H. Moritz was hired to produce the project.
Oh shit.
Can we talk about how crazy the soundtrack is in this movie and the score.
Linkin Park, baby.
Like the opening like heist scene with the like wailing guitar.
It's pretty uneven.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of great trumpets. I liked the trumpets.
Kurt was like, I love this trumpet at one point.
I was on board with that first bank robbery.
Oh, yeah.
That dude's out there with an AK just like mowing down cops and like blowing up cars. I was like, all right.
And yet,
dude.
like, he seemed like he was right in their sights.
I know. I was like, can somebody shoot this guy already?
Also, let me tell you what, if you're a bank robber and they bring like a phone, right? They bring like a secure line phone to the door, the cops do, so they can communicate with this guy.
Yeah.
And it's like a phone inside of like a bulletproof briefcase, basically, and they drop it at the door. Send a fucking hostage out to get that thing.
Yeah.
Don't go get it yourself. The guy opens the door and grabs his phone.
Is the fear that the hostage is just going to run away?
This is a good call. This is why we need each other, Sam.
Oh my God.
Hey, get out there. Hey, go out to the freedom outside and get that phone for me.
Maybe you guys should try robbing a bank and we'll see how it goes.
When we're mid-robbery, Sam, it's this kind of logic I'm going to be looking for from you.
You think we'd be good at it?
No, I don't.
Wow, Kim. Fucking wow.
My favorite part of this movie was when they were shooting sniper rifles into a mountain, and the mountain had slightly oversized playing cards all lined up on a big like 2x4.
Yeah.
And they were playing poker, trying to shoot, the perfect hand.
The card that they need. Yeah. Yeah. Dude, this fucking movie. This fucking movie. I struggled a little bit, I gotta say.
Well, can we talk about Samuel L. Jackson? Because he's...
You mean Hondo?
Hondo, baby.
Yeah, Hondo. The reason why we are here is Samuel L. Jackson. And he does his best,
Oh, yeah. I mean,
what he's given.
Samuel L. Jackson is a national treasure.
Truly.
And I feel like there's a lot of movies like this in his career mixed in with...
What's up with Changing Lanes?
A lot of perfect movies. That's a great question. Deep Blue Sea, baby.
If this was a standalone movie that you had just bought, would you be keeping it?
Yes.
What?
The real question, Sam, is would I be upgrading it when Arrow does a 4K of it?
Man, this guy's lost it, y'all.
For the first hour, it was a hard no. And then...
it was the $100 million thing that really got me.
It really got me. It really got me.
Oh, man, you know what he does like right after this movie is this movie called Twisted.
Oh, did Kino just put that out?
Yes.
What's that? What is Twisted?
Sucks. I just watched...
You guys keep buying all these
Did you buy Twisted?
No.
We need to get a good movie on here again. Jesus Christ.
I watched Twisted when I was home in Chicago a couple weeks ago, and it is unfortunately very bad. But might be tight, though.
Wait, how is Basic gonna... I hope it's better than SWAT.
According to IMDb right now, Basic came out before SWAT.
Okay.
It's at a 6.4 stars, and SWAT's at a 6.1.
Okay.
So take that, whatever.
Hey, we never promised that this episode was going to be anything but best people.
This is like, this is the beginning of the year. We're crawling in. It's just starting here.
Yeah, we're going to get there.
We're kicking the fucking door in right now.
We're kicking it in.
Wait, was this movie a hit?
$70 million budget, Sam. $207.7 million box
Oh, wow,
office.
it did well.
Did really well.
Was it a summer release?
Yeah, August.
Is there a SWAT 2? What's up with SWAT 2? Is there a SWAT 2?
Dude, let's make SWAT 2.
Honestly, it would be better.
That's for goddamn sure.
Well, should we find out what's up with Basic?
I'm honestly super intrigued about this because we talked about it on the first episode. You remember this movie the most because you remember downloading the trailer in like 280p or some shit.
Yeah, I was obsessed with the trailer for this movie in 2003. How old was I in 2003?
We were
15?
14?
14, yeah.
14, 15, yeah.
Were we?
Well, I've never seen this trailer. This never registered on my...
I'm not telling you right now that it's a good trailer. It's just, the idea of this movie sounded sick.
I have just literally no memory of this movie coming out. SWAT, I kind of remember, but Basic, it just never...
Let's look at Basic's popularity real quickly.
What do you mean?
I want to see how it did.
Okay.
$50 million budget, 42.8 box office.
Ooh, not good.
This is directed by John McTiernan.
Oh fuck, dude, this is gonna be so good. Basic's probably. I'm putting money down on it right now. Basic rules.
It is, unlike SWAT, not 2 hours long. It is 98 minutes.
Oh, that's so much better.
Kim, are you watching this?
I don't know.
This might be it for Kim.
We're going to finish Basic at 4 a.m.
But I can't wait to hear about it.
You think Clark Johnson is listening to this episode right now?
I really don't. I really don't think
I
that
don't think so. I think he's...
Okay.
have earned that.
What do you think is more likely to stumble upon this podcast? Clark Johnson or Chuck Russell?
My money's on Chuck.
I can't wait to get Chuck on the pod.
Okay, we have returned. Sam is here. I am here. Kim is gone.
We lost her in the jungle.
We have just watched 2003's Basic
That we did. So you had seen this before?
in the theater.
I'm surprised you saw it in the theaters. Like, I'm assuming you went with your dad.
2003. Okay, so I had the magical experience of living near a theater where,
Oh, that's
yeah, your
right.
parents could buy your R-rated tickets. As long as they paid for it, they didn't have to go with you. There's a chance my dad would have gone with us to see this, but I think I saw this with my friends.
Okay. I didn't like this movie.
Oh, no. This movie is better than S.W.A.T by about a light year.
You think so?
Yes,
I think it's better directed than S.W.A.T, without a doubt.
for sure.
No offense to Clark.
In Basic,
Mm-hmm.
let's start with Samuel L. Jackson. He's the man of the hour tonight.
Yeah.
He plays an Army Ranger, like drill sergeant, instructor,
A tough-ass motherfucker.
a hard-ass motherfucker. And he is training a group of soldiers on, how to be an Army Ranger in a jungle combat machine.
Mhm.
And he takes out, what is it, like 8 soldiers?
I think it's 6, right?
6 soldiers into the Panama jungle during a hurricane for a training exercise. Very shortly after, this entire group has gone missing. When a search party is out looking for them, they find 2 of them,
Like in an active gun battle with another one of them.
with each other. Someone's wounded, someone gets shot and killed in front of these rescue team soldiers, and no one else can be found.
Mm-hmm.
Thus begins an investigation. And so one of the surviving soldiers insists that he will only talk to another Army Ranger.
But one that he does not know.
Yeah. So they bring in a DEA agent named Tom Hardy.
Yeah. Played by John Travolta. And then the rest of the movie is kind of like a Rashomon, he said, she said situation. So we keep seeing the same situation replayed, but with this time from a different perspective or more facts or alternative facts.
Yeah.
It quickly becomes extremely convoluted.
Very. And Travolta is working hand in hand with an Army captain played by Connie Nielsen.
With like maybe one of the worst accents of all time.
There's some bad accents in this movie. And it should be said that it's clear early on that members of this platoon have killed their sergeant, Samuel L. Jackson. So he is dead in the woods.
Yeah.
And they're trying to figure out
Who did it and why. I don't think there's a way to really kind of talk about this movie without spoiling it. So we will get into spoiler territory on 2003's Basic, which we should point out is directed by John McTiernan. I know that, Kurt, you said that right as we were about to start watching it, but this is the guy who directed Predator, Die Hard, Last Action Hero, Die Hard with a Vengeance, the remake of the Thomas Crown Affair. Like, he's a very well-known action director.
reuniting with Samuel L. Jackson from Die Hard with a Vengeance and reuniting with the jungle from Predator.
Yo, what's up with the 13th Warrior? Is it good? I used to love that movie when I was a kid.
I've never seen it.
Probably tight. But this is, of note, this is John McTiernan's last movie.
Oh, is it?
This is the last movie he directed, and he's still alive. He's just
Damn.
not. It was this in 2003 and Rollerball in 2002, which is sitting at a 3.1 star on IMDb. It was also written by James Vanderbilt, who wrote Zodiac and The Rundown and those fucking awful Spider-Man movies with Andrew Garfield.
He wrote the last 2 Screams. Co-wrote them, I believe.
Yeah, the Independence Day remake or sequel from years ago.
Totally forgot they made a sequel to Independence Day.
Yeah, I never saw it. But yeah, I mean, like, there's some big, heavy hitters behind the scenes of this movie.
And a good supporting cast. 2 of the soldiers on this mission in training are Giovanni Ribisi and Taye Diggs.
Oh my God. How about Giovanni's Lorne Michael impression that he's doing the entire movie?
Is that what you got? I was his voice was driving me nuts. He has a very specific, like, he's doing a choice voice. And
yes, and it sounds like Dr. Evil, which is based on Lorne Michael.
Yeah. That makes sense. There's another one that's like on the tip of my tongue, of my brain's tongue. Watching it, I was like, who does he sound like? Like, it's like almost Buffalo Bill.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, this is just, it's one of those movies that you're paying attention to because there's like constantly new information coming at you, but it is so convoluted.
I mean, it's just twist after twist after twist.
Yeah.
Let me talk about what I like about this movie.
Okay. Yeah. Go for it.
Okay. So this movie takes place, I think, entirely in the rain for the most part.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Which sets a nice atmosphere. I love a movie that takes place in the rain like this. It takes place either in the jungle or on this army base in Panama. I love the lighting in this movie. Like when they're on the base, I guess there's a couple red lights just outside.
Yeah.
They establish. But then there's like in the interrogation room, there's like an exit sign that's red. But for whatever reason, all of the kind of key light, backlight is all red. And it just provides this really interesting palette and atmosphere that, especially when I was 14 and saw this trailer, I was like, damn, this movie looks sick.
There is some really great jungle stuff, honestly.
Yeah, it's great.
There's some like really cool foresty jungle stuff.
Unfortunately, like a lot of the rain is an optical effect. And
yeah, there's some bad rain in this movie.
Where it's sort of fake foreground post rain. And I was thinking to myself, would I buy this on 4K? The answer is yes. I do think that a lot of the shots, because they've been processed like that, probably wouldn't look very good.
No, I think they'd look really bad, honestly.
Like you can always tell when it's not one of those shots because suddenly everything's much sharper and looks better.
The movie basically opens on a helicopter flying into the jungle to drop these guys off to run this training mission. And any of that helicopter stuff would look atrociously bad.
Yeah.
On 4K.
But the interrogation room stuff, I think that lighting would look really awesome in HDR. We should say that, okay, this set that we have explored for the last however long, SWAT and Basic, it's a 2-pack Blu-ray. They're all on one disc.
Yeah, there's literally, when you put it in, it doesn't go to a menu. You just select which movie you're playing.
Yeah, it's just split down the middle. It says SWAT or Basic.
Yeah, and then it just starts immediately. The minute you hit whichever one you select, it just starts immediately.
No special features.
Also, I don't know on your projector or if you watched on your TV, but the Mill Creek Entertainment logo that comes up on this Blu-ray is the most pixelated logo I've ever seen on a major movie ever.
It's interesting because Basic, especially the Columbia Pictures logo, it's full of like dirt, debris. They did not clean it up at all.
No.
Which
I really
kind of like that, but
I think there's a reason why this is his last movie.
Yeah. I mean, it bombed, like as we said.
Can we get into spoilery bits or do you want to talk more about
let me just say one last thing.
Yeah.
I think that because they've jammed all 2 fucking hours of SWAT and 98 minutes of Basic onto a single disc, Blu-ray.com doesn't have the size information of the disc because there's either a 50 gigabyte Blu-ray disc or a 25 gig disc.
My guess is it's probably a 25 gig disc that is then supporting 2 files as big as they possibly can be.
Yeah, I mean, you would hope it would be 50 if they were doing this much content on one. It's certainly why there's no special features, I'd say, but...
Or because nobody fucking cares about either of these movies.
Because, well, SWAT has its own individual standalone release, and that has, I looked it up, has like deleted scenes on it. Basic, this is the only way to get it on Blu-ray. Unfortunately, my point is that both of these look pretty bad.
Yeah. There's not even a theatrical trailer for either of them on there.
Unfortunately, because I'll have to stick with my 280p Basic.
You know, the minute this movie ended, I hit a menu button, seeing if I could pull up a trailer.
Yeah.
Because I remember there's a shot at one point where Samuel L. Jackson is standing on top of a structure, like a little like hut in the jungle.
Yeah,
and I remember that shot in the trailer.
Dude, how about the shot where he's walking with his like raincoat cape draped over one shoulder? Damn, he's fucking awesome.
That is so cool. There are some great shots. There's some great location work in this. As Marty said, there's really nice lighting in it. So this whole movie is playing out. And, you know, you don't know who to trust. You don't know which story is right or wrong. And then ultimately you find out.
Well, let's talk slightly about what the versions are. Like at first you think a kind of picked on, abused trainee who has personal, animosity toward Samuel L. Jackson is the one that did it. And then they reveal kind of like a drug sort of deal scandal that's happening within the troops, who are using what they call like a combat cocktail to like stay alert.
Basically, like, yeah, get through their like insanely intense training.
And then there's like a wider cocaine conspiracy where they're using military shipping to
bring cocaine back into America from Panama.
Yeah, and like many of the soldiers are implicated in that theory. And then, Samuel L. Jackson like stumbles upon them and tries to stop it. And so they all kind of kill him.
Well, because it starts out he gets killed because he's just kind of a prick, and then we find out he actually got killed because he stumbled upon this information.
But there's like two versions of the drug thing. It's like he dies because he finds out one of the guys is using drugs, and then he dies because he finds out the whole platoon is dealing drugs.
Yeah, and then he tells his sergeant, but his sergeant doesn't do anything, and then we find out that his sergeant is actually in on the drugs, and
had him killed.
Yeah. Basically, it's like a lot of twists, as Kurt said, which it ultimately just turns out that none of the twists are true. That's the ultimate fucking twist, is that none of the twists are true. And they did all of this to literally like get 2 bad eggs out of their platoon, and everybody else is still alive and not dead, and none of it fucking matters. I was so mad at the end of this movie.
Yeah, the final twist, I don't even know if I can explain it. Travolta has been in on it the whole time.
And Samuel Jackson isn't dead.
Yeah, and Travolta runs his own shadow Black Ops kind of unit.
Section 8.
Called Section 8.
Which is literally marked by an inflatable 8-ball hanging outside of a fucking apartment building in Panama.
Yep. Samuel L. Jackson was convinced that he was going to be shot down, so he called his old friend Travolta, who he also trained, we should say.
Yeah.
And Travolta stages this very complicated screenplay to save Samuel L. Jackson.
And like outs 2 bad guys ultimately. Like there's 2 guys who die in the jungle who are ultimately bad people.
And the colonel or whatever in charge of everything too.
Other than, I'll tell you the scene that I liked. Can you guess
the scene you
that
liked?
I liked the most in this movie?
Is it Travolta fighting Connie Nielsen?
No, that scene made absolutely no fucking sense to me at all.
When he like barrel rolls through a door for no reason.
Yeah, it's just, and it comes out of...
A lot of barrel rolls in this 2-pack.
Yeah, there's a lot of barrel rolls in SWAT.
Yeah.
Better done than in Basic, in my opinion.
I liked in SWAT when they were like, nobody does that in real life. That's just in John Woo movies. And apparently John Woo turned down SWAT.
No, the scene that I like the most is when Giovanni Ribisi gets poisoned in his hospital bed and just like vomits like an entire like 6 gallons of blood up.
Yeah.
It's nuts,
It's
dude.
nuts.
And it happens out of nowhere. And I went, oh, one of the cats jumped off me. But other than that, the movie's kind of flat.
I'm very entertained by this one until I'm so lost that it just kind of loses all of its charm. But I love the format of like interrogation cutting back and forth between a crime.
I was way on board for the first 25-30 minutes.
When did it lose you?
I'm not sure if there's like a certain scene. I think eventually I was just like, you're asking more questions and you're like providing. It's a little bit of the Lost situation where I was like, eventually you've given the audience like so much, but you haven't answered anything. And now I'm just kind of like, does any of this actually matter? And then the ending really lost me when I was like, oh shit, she's following John Travolta off the base. I was like, oh fuck, is he like the major drug dealer this entire time? And the fact that he's just like, no, we catch bad guys and my friends won't betray their country. I was just like, oh, shut the fuck up, dude.
Yeah, there's like a brief hint at a twist where Travolta is responsible for taking down Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
Because at one time he was his pupil who was abused. You know, nobody liked him. That version could have worked. Sam, I just discovered on Basics Wikipedia page a John McTiernan quote from a 2014 Empire magazine article. Have you seen this?
No.
He said, quote, "It was an absolute fucking nightmare. The week before shooting, I was told I was going to have to shoot the original draft of the screenplay, which didn't work. Furthermore, I was sent a lawyer's letter saying I couldn't tell this to the studio and would be sued if I tried to communicate it to them. I was able to squirrel away $500,000 to do reshoots, but the story still makes no sense at all." End quote.
What?
So basic, everyone.
Wait, dude, also on IMDb trivia, I'm reading right now, director John McTiernan didn't make another movie after Basic for more than 13 years. This was due to legal troubles related to illegally wiretapping a business associate and an ex-wife, which eventually led to 12 months incarceration and forced liquidation of his assets. What?
Basic, man. Beginning of the end.
I was a little scared in the beginning of this movie because there are some lines that are delivered that are completely ADR, and like John Travolta's saying them, but his mouth doesn't move in the movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I think this has been, cut to ribbons and put back together. And it really does kind of feel like that, especially after that quote.
Apparently one of the people that John McTiernan wiretapped, according to Wikipedia, was Charles Roven, producer of The Dark Knight.
Wow. Wow, man. Who would have thought?
Shout out to Charles Roven, man.
You clearly liked this movie more than I did. And so I just think that eventually when you have that many twists in it, it just kind of loses all meaning.
Absolutely. This is a bad movie, but a bad movie that I think is somehow very watchable and entertaining.
Without a doubt. I mean, again, and it's like even in the last scene where you realize that everyone has been friends this entire time and that Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta are like buddies, seeing them on screen together, like with Pulp Fiction in my head, it was like, oh, fun. Like, this is so funny that they're like sitting in this table.
That was a big part of this marketing campaign, I think, was like, they're back.
Yeah. Although that's the only scene that they have together. Yeah. And it's about 4 minutes long.
What an insane ending. What an insane ending.
It's just they such a bad ending.
Connie Nielsen like into the fucking Avengers.
Yeah, literally. It felt like that piece of shit Exorcist movie that David Gordon Green did like last year or whatever. There's a scene in that movie which like a bunch of fucking losers end up at a church and it's just like the religious Avengers. This felt much like the military Avengers, like a gathering of a team. And they kind of imply that like there might be another movie in the basic canon. Like, let's watch these guys, clean up Panama. And it's so silly and dumb.
Yeah.
And I think one of the other things about it too is that the reveal that so many of these characters who we think are dead the whole time are actually alive. We really only get to know 2 of the team members because of the way that the movie is structured. Mm-hmm. That having them be alive, you're just kind of like, well, I don't really care because I don't know any of these people.
Yeah.
It wasn't a huge reveal of like, oh God, that guy's still kicking. I couldn't tell you. Can you tell me any of their names off the top of your head?
Speaking of names, no. And speaking of names, that's another thing I had a hard time with about this movie is there's a lot of names to keep straight. It's just like a bunch of people's last names that honestly, halfway through the movie, I was like, uh-oh, which one's Dunbar? Which one's Pike? And then Dunbar is Pike.
And yeah, there's a little Ace Ventura in there.
Yeah. Well, Sam,
I'm happy we did it, but I can't wait to fucking sell these movies.
Oh, see, now Basic to me is a prized possession. Knowing that this is the only way you can get this movie, and knowing that perhaps on some rainy day in the future, I will put this back on and maybe I'll understand it this time. I'm feeling pretty good.
I'm not mad that I watched it. I had about as good of a time watching this as I did S.W.A.T, where it's like they're very watchable movies. It's got that 2003 kind of like, the pace is very good. It doesn't drag. They're easy to watch. But the way that I look at movies like Basic and S.W.A.T is that these are perfect movies that like if I was at an Airbnb on vacation or something and they had a streaming service and somebody was like, you ever see S.W.A.T? I'd be like, oh yeah, put it on. Or if I was like flipping channels at my mom's house and S.W.A.T or Basic was on like USA, I'd be like, okay, cool. Yeah. But the chance of me ever of selling this Blu-ray and then being like, fuck, I need to see that scene in S.W.A.T, not going to happen.
One thing I really appreciated about Basic as opposed to S.W.A.T is everyone is for the most part wearing military uniforms and we're not subjected to the fashion of 2003.
Oh yeah.
There's a woman in a bar in S.W.A.T who's wearing like a crocheted skin tight like beanie and like also super low rise jeans. And then Colin Farrell's hair is
elegantly disheveled.
Is it sort of like a coif? Is that what we call that? And then eventually
is it
Jeremy Renner's becomes that. He like grows sideburns, pierces both his ears, and then his hair is sticking up like Colin Farrell's when he turns into the bad guy.
Here's a hot take. Other than The Town, Jeremy Renner fucking sucks.
I don't agree.
What else is he good in?
Hurt Locker.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
American Hustle.
American Hustle fucking blows, dude. American Hustle fucking blows, dude.
That may be, but he is great. He's great.
I couldn't even tell you that he was in that movie.
Mission Impossible 4.
Dude, he was so boring in that movie that Tom Cruise was like, I cannot pass on this franchise to that guy. And then they wrote him out of the other movies.
Remember when he was supposed to be Freddie Quell in The Master?
Oh, God. Thank God.
Isn't that crazy?
Thank God he's not
I think that their
movie.
financing like fell through for a minute on it, and that it got pushed, and that's why
He had to go be
happened.
Hawkeye.
Perhaps.
I just find him boring. I just find him like so plain and so boring, and I don't feel like he's often making choices, but that's fine.
I'm never upset to see him, but he wouldn't be my first choice.
Well, gang, those were 2003's SWAT and Basic.
Welcome back to Physical Therapy, a movie podcast.
Fresh year.
We're going to be playing some hits, though. Don't you worry.
Next week, we got No Country, right?
Or that's the plan, yeah.
Yeah.
A good friend of mine, Eric, a great director and writer, is interested in talking about that movie with us. So pending his schedule, that will be next week.
Cool.
Or very soon, if not.
So we're coming back stronger than SWAT and Basic. Just give us a minute, all right?
If you're a fan of SWAT or Basic, let us know on Instagram.
Yeah, please hit us up so I can sell you my copy.
I need someone to talk about Basic too. Have someone explain it to me. Okay, Sam, before we go, it's time to put wishes out into the physical media universe for titles and formats that do not yet exist. We had a lot of luck with this stuff last season,
Yeah.
and I'm excited to keep it going.
No, last year. We're still in the same season.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
You want to go first?
Yeah.
I'm going to let you go first, Sam, because I think you might pick one of the ones I might pick, and therefore...
There's no way you're picking a movie that I'm picking.
Okay. Well, nonetheless.
Dude, if you pick this movie, I'm going to fucking lose my mind. I wish for a Blu-ray or 4K of William Friedkin's Jade.
I wish for a Kino Lorber 4K of Hard Rain.
Dude, you ever see Jade? 1995's Jade?
Green and black artwork? No.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a woman whose like arms are against a wall, and it's very green, and she's in a black dress. David Caruso. I rented this movie at one point from Movie Madness. I don't think it's good, but I think it might be great.
No Blu-ray?
There's not a Blu-ray of it. I'm pretty sure I only ever rented it on DVD.
Okay.
It's just one of those weird...
This is not the one about the tree?
No. That's The Guardian. I did that one on the show already.
What's up with Jade?
There is a Blu-ray. It's probably out of print because it's $45 on Amazon right now. Jade is about like a cop of some kind. I can't really remember. I remember there's like I think a person gets hit by a car in this movie that I was like, oh shit. A bright assistant DA investigates a gruesome hatchet murder and hides a clue he found at the crime scene. Under professional threats and an attempt on his life, he goes on heartbroken because evidence points to the woman he still loves.
Sounds good to me.
Come on, Billy Friedkin.
What could go wrong? All right, Hard Rain.
Haven't you wished for this?
Did I wish for this? You know what? Fuck Hard Rain. I'm going to switch my wish.
Yeah, you definitely wish for Hard Rain.
If I wished for this already, there you go. If I didn't, Hard Rain rocks. My wish, in honor of our man of the hour, I'm wishing for F. Gary Gray's The Negotiator.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
On 4K.
Hell yeah. Good fucking call.
This is a 1998 movie starring Samuel L. Jackson, Kevin Spacey, J.T. Walsh, David Morse, and Paul Giamatti.
Oh, yeah.
This is a movie about a hostage negotiator who is framed for murdering his partner, and in order to clear his reputation, ends up taking hostages and duking it out with another negotiator played by Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
And this is a fucking awesome action movie.
It's great. Like a perfect 90s action movie.
Yeah, thriller, crime thriller.
Again, a movie with a lot of twists and turns, but it doesn't really make you feel as dumb as Basic does.
No, this one is way better.
You want my blood? Take my blood.
Damn, dude, Negotiator fucking rules.
Is that the Blu-ray's out of print, isn't it? Wasn't it hard to find for a long time?
I think it came back.
Okay.
We got one from August 11th, 2015 that appears to be relatively cheap, at least.
Okay. All right. Well, then there you go. It is available on Blu-ray, but this is right up Kino's alley. Like right up Kino's alley. Actually, so is Jade. Give me a fucking 2-pack of those.
This one is Fox. Who's putting out Fox? Why do I never know the answer to this?
Doesn't Disney own them now?
Yeah, they own them. But is any boutique label regularly doing Fox titles?
Not that I know of off the top of my head. Arrow's doing a lot of what? Paramount these days?
Paramount
Universal.
And then the occasional Warner Brothers too, right?
Yeah.
Well, fingers crossed.
Here's hoping. Here's hoping.
Okay, Sam, that's it for our first episode of 2025.
Happy to be back.
A big thank you to Patrick LeBon for our music, Kimberly for producing. Thank you to you, Sam.
Hey, man, we're just here for it.
We will be back next week, hopefully with No Country for Old Men. We will find out. Eric, are you available?
I guess if we aren't doing that, maybe we'll put a teaser of something on the Instagram.
Yeah, for sure. We'll do basic and then SWAT.
We'll see if our opinions change if we watch them in a different order.